श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवं यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिम्. Srimathae Raamanujaya Namaha, Srimat.Varavaramuniye Namaha, Sri Baladanvi Gurave Namaha. By the immense anugraham of Emperuman, Pirati, Alvars and our Purvacharyas, in the previous episode of Shri Shabdam, we learnt about Emperuman's wealth. Based on the nature, they are categorized into two: the permanent wealth called as the Nithya Vibhuthi, and the transient wealth or the wealth that is used for Emperuman's entertainment called as the Leela Vibhuthi. In today's episode, we will be learning about the different forms or manifestations that Emperuman takes in these two Vibhuthis. Let's start with Nithya Vibhuthi, which is also called as the Paramapadam or the Sri Vaikuntham. As the name Para suggests, it is a transcending form or a form that is beyond all limits, and hence the manifestation in Paramapadam is called as Paravasudevan. Emperuman there is Chaturbhujan, 4 arms, and he is in a seated position along with his consorts Shri Devi, Bhudevi and Neela Devi. There they enjoy the company of Nityasuris and Muktatmas who perform constant Kainkaryam at his lotus feet. Though Paravasudevan is consuming all of these Kainkaryam performed by Nityasuris and Muktatmas, looks like he is not satiated. Undadu urukkaatadu. Whatever he is consuming is not reflecting on his Tirumeni. Why? Because he is worried about his children who are left out in the Leela Vibhuthi. Very similar to how a rich dad, despite all his wealth, all his children being around, would constantly worry about that one son who is in a foreign land or left out. Very similar to that, Paravasudevan is worried about all of us who are stuck in the Leela Vibhuthi. And hence he decides to descend down and redeem and restore us all. Why is that he needs to descend? Why is that we can't go to him? Very simple. Let's take an example that we are a owner of a purse which has our wealth in it. Now we lose the purse somewhere. Will the purse walk and come to us, or would the owner be going behind the purse? Though we wish the purse had a couple of legs to walk and come to us, the reality is only the owner has to go and seek and pursue it and bring it back, isn't it? Similarly, we are his property. Naraha are his property, right? And we are lost in this ocean of samsaram, and hence it's very much upon the owner, Swamy, Emperuman, to come and take us. That's why he descends from Paramapadam and he comes to Leela Vibhuthi. Now, when the Leela has to happen, there has to be a creation. Where does that creation happen? It happens in the Vyuham, which is the first form of the Leela Vibhuthi. As Paravasudevan, he descends to become the Vyuhavasudevan, and Vyuhavasudevan further creates Aniruddhan, Pradyumnan and Sankarshanan, and these three are responsible for creation, protection and destruction respectively. This fourfold functional manifestation happens in Vyuham or the cosmic form, which is nothing other than the Tirupparkadal. And this place is also called as Koopida Ketkumidam, the grievance cell, because this is where we hear all the stories of Brahma, Indra going and complaining and asking Perumal to kill this Asura, that Asura. All of these things happen in this Vyuha. This is the Tirupparkadal. And the next manifestation, Emperuman further descends down into this very Bhulokam, taking multiple incarnations like Rama or Krishna, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha and so on. So these incarnations become the third form, which is the Vibhava. Furthermore, Emperuman is also present in every Jivatma as the Antaryami, the indweller, and so Antaryami becomes the fourth form. This body is sustained by the Jivatma, and the Jivatma is sustained by the Paramatma, and he is said to be residing inside the heart of every being, and that is called as the indweller form or the Antaryami form. And the last form is the Archai form, which is Emperuman's form in all the temples or all the homes where he takes up the deity form and what we worship. This is the Archai form. Now we have seen 5 forms. In Nithya Vibhuthi, it's the Paravasudevan. And the next manifestation happens in Leela Vibhuthi. The first one is Kadal, where Tane Ulagellam, Tane Padaitidanda, Tane Undu Umildu, Tane Alvane. He creates, protects, and destroys. That all happens in the Vyuham, the Kadal. Then he comes to this Bhulokam with multiple incarnations, that is the Vibhavam. And then he is residing inside every Jivatma as the Antaryami. And finally, where he takes the deity form for worshipping either at temples or home, called as the Archai form. Now comes the biggest question. Of all these 5 forms, which form is more accessible to us? Which form should we hold on as refuge? Again, our Purvacharyas are showing a way to us. In Sri Vachana Bhushanam by Swamy Pillai Lokacharyar, there is a very beautiful aphorism which goes, Bhogada jalam pole Antaryami tvam avarana jalam pole paratvam parkadal pole Vyuham பெருக்கார போலே விபவங்கள் அதிலே தேங்கின மடுக்கள் போலே அர்ச்சாவதாரம் 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 அர்ச்சாவதாரம். We will see each line. There is a very thirsty man. He's approaching his friend requesting water. The friend says, well buddy, I don't have water, but I'll give you all the equipments that is needed for digging a well. You dig a well and drink a water. Think about the plight of the thirsty man. How long it's going to first dig a well? Will he even survive until he digs a well, gets that first sip of water? This sounds almost impossible. That's exactly how the Antaryami form is. Though it's right there, it takes humongous effort to actually do the realization in the Antaryami form. And so, our Purvacharyas say this is not a best option. Next comes the Avarana Jalam. The friend says, okay buddy, don't worry. Outside of the galaxy is actually filled with lots of water. Why don't you go there? Again, when is this man going to find a spaceship that can transcend all these worlds? And when is he going to reach the Avarana Jalam? That's exactly how the Paratvam or the Paramapadam is. It's beyond our comprehension. So that's also not possible. This friend finally says, don't worry about water. You even forget water. There is this ocean of milk, and why don't you go and take milk from there instead of water? Well, again, this thirsty man is asking, I can't even see that. Where is that Parkadal, the ocean of milk that you're talking about? So that's also not approachable. Finally, the friend kind of comes to an agreement. He said, okay buddy, forget about all the 3 options that I gave you. Just a couple of months ago, there was a huge flash flood around the terrain. Why don't you go there and consume some water? Well, as the term flash flood says, it's something that comes and goes, but never stays. That's exactly how Rama Avataram or Krishna Avataram is. Rama came in Treta Yugam, Krishna came in Dwapara Yugam, we are in Kali Yugam. Where to go in search of that Rama and that Krishna and hold on to his feet? So that's also kind of impossible. Then the friend finally says, okay, I have a brilliant idea. Don't worry about the flash flood. But when that flooding happened, there was a lot of potholes on the way, which kind of retained the flood water, which kind of later became into small lakes and ponds. Do you want to go and consume water there? That is readily available. Oh, now this thirsty man is so happy because he can just go there and drink the water and quench his thirst. That's exactly how the Archavataram is. Because in Archavataram also, as Alvar says, Adiyanjodi Uruvai Angavaitha Ingapirandan. He comes with the same splendor. And not just that, he is also complete, Purnan, with all the Kalyana Gunam. In fact, his quality of Saulabhyam, that's easy accessibility, Sausiliam, his graciousness, and Vatsalyam, the tenderness, is magnified. Considering this only, most of the Alvars predominantly did their Sharanagati in the Archa form. And this also clears one big doubt in us. Most of us think that worshipping a deity form is actually a primitive form of worship, which means we have to move from form to formlessness. But that's not what our Purvacharya says. In fact, worshipping this deity form is considered as one of the most supreme form of worship. And hence we can very happily continue doing that, be it our Salagrama Emperuman or Divyamangala Vigraham at home or at temple, we can rejoice this. And the importance of this Archavataram is what we are going to experience as a song at the very end from Thiruvaimozhi Nootrandadi by Swamy Malavala Mamunigal. When Emperuman comes in any of these manifestations, there is one person who always accompanies him. And that person becomes the root of our Sampradayam. Do you have any guesses? If you know the answer, please leave a comment. If not, wait until the next session to find out who is that person who always accompanies Emperuman. Dhanyasmi, Srimathae Raamanujaya Namaha.
செய்ய பரத்துவமாய் சீரார் வியூகமாய் துய்ய விபவமாய் தோன்றியவற்றுள் செய்ய பரத்துவமாய் சீரார் வியூகமாய் துய்ய விபவமாய் தோன்றியவற்றுள் எய்தும் அவர்கிந்நிலத்தில் அர்ச்சாவதாரம் எளிதென்றான். எய்தும் அவர்கிந்நிலத்தில் அர்ச்சாவதாரம் எளிதென்றான். பன்னு தமிழ் மாறன் பயின்று எய்தும் அவர்கிந்நிலத்தில் அர்ச்சாவதாரம் எளிதென்றான். பன்னு தமிழ் மாறன் பயின்று பன்னு தமிழ் மாறன் பயின்று